I don't know about you, but this is the moment I've been waiting for. I've done all my draft events. I now have 100 packs, Wilds of Eldraine packs I'm going to open, and my 10 golden packs as well. It's about to be time to start crafting some of these new decks. So let's go through the packs, see what we open, and we'll go through this as quickly as possible. See if we get any of those really, really cool rares that are going to be like top meta decks. Welcome back. Okay, right, we're going to go and open these 100 packs and the 10 golden packs as well and see what we get in them. First of all, I'm going to do a quick update on where we are with the kind of like with the set at the moment. So don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And we're going to get into where we are with Wilds of Eldraine right now. So my collection at the moment for Wilds of Eldraine, I have got at least 40 different rares and 13 different mythics, but it's more than just 40 and 13 because this is how many I have at least one of. So I'm going to have to go to my main collection to see exactly how many I've got. But I've done my draft events. I've done 10 draft events. My current record is 55% win rate, which is actually lower than normal for me, but it's still good because out of those 10 draft events that I've done, I've earned about 78 additional rares compared to what I would have done if I just spent those gems or that gold on packs. So it's definitely worked out well for me because I have done all right in the draft events. Every event has been either somewhere between 3 and 5 wins, apart from one where I only got one, and that was terrible, but it happens, right? It happens to us. But yeah, so the majority of those draft events were between 3 and 5 wins. And in some of them, I got past so many rares and mythics. I got like 10 rares and mythics in one of them because so many get passed to you in these premier drafts. So that's what we have at the moment. And if we look at the collection and go to just Wilds of Eldraine, just rare and mythic that we've collected. And if we have a look at the actual rares and mythics directly, there's, I think it was about 95 I have here. I've got from those draft events and from some other the mythic rewards, the specific rewards you get from the mastery pass. So I haven't opened any packs yet from Wilds of Eldraine, and these are all the cards I've picked in drafts and from the mythic ICRs. And my wild cards, don't look at my coins. I only have five gold at the moment because I just spent the last on a couple of packs just to make it up to 100. My wild cards at the moment, 65 commons. Let's open up here. 65 commons, 81 uncommons, 2 rares, and no mythics because I keep using them too often. And my vault progress is at 60.4%. So let's see if we go to the packs. If we start opening these, let's see how many wildcards I can get from there, how much vault progress goes up, and how many, what my percentage of the set is on my set collection. And let's see if we get any of those really, really good cards. We're going to do 10 at a time because otherwise it's going to take forever. Okay, so let's go. The first 10 packs. And it has this whole like crazy animation to show us all the packs opening. Okay, there's too much happening at once. Okay, let's just reveal it all. Okay. Wow, look at this. Okay, Mythic Wildcard, Asinine Antics. I probably won't use that. But Rowan, Sign of War. Got some good ideas for that one. We've got some of the other, what they called, Enchanting Tales enchantments. So these ones that have this different style, they're not standard legal, and they only take up a common slot in the pack. So don't worry if you get these kind of enchantments. They're not taking out of the rares and mythics that you get that you can use in standard. Got Hornlock Whale, which is really good for control decks. Another Bunnycorn, which I think is my 4th one now. So we're going to have some big Bunnycorn decks. Iron Crag, which is okay. Decadent Dragon, it's going to be fun. There's another Enchanting Tale. Food Fight, not interested in, but it fills out the collection. Hilda's Crown of Winter, probably won't use, although blue, white, icy, tap. I don't know, we could try that out if we've got the other cards for it. Elvish Archivist, really good with, artifacts and enchantments. So that's going to fit into, well, different decks. We've got both of those in, I guess. Okay, and is that all the rares? Where do we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes, so 10, 10 rares there. Otherwise, we've got a little bit of fairies, a little bit of rat synergy, more rats. Twisted Fealty and Witch Stalker Frenzy, great for mono red. Welcome to Sweet Tooth, really good for green and black food-based decks. Stroke of Midnight, really good removal in white. Fairy Fencing goes in the fairy deck. Never, or Neva, Stalked by Nightmares. We could try and make a black and white enchantment style deck. Enchantment Sacrifice kind of deck. Interesting idea. You could try that one out. All these other ones are like pretty good, kind of in draft, maybe not great in constructed, but most of the collection is like this, right? There's going to be a lot that isn't really good in standard. We're just looking at the rares and the really good commons and uncommons that we can put into our decks. Hamlet Glutton is great in draft. Whether it will work in standard, yeah, probably not, because we could just play like, you know, Vorinclex, which is like a 5 mana 6/6 trample anyway with reach. Okay, anything else? Out. No. Shatter the Oath, good for draft, but not for constructed. And anything else here particularly interesting? Watch the Tower could be used in some red decks, but that's probably all we get out of those 10. So let's go on to the next 10. It's this huge animation again. Look at these wild cards just popping out. Okay, revealing all. Virtue of Courage. Okay, I'm looking forward to using that in a red spells deck. Beseech the Mirror. I think I've got 2 of those already. Obviously really good in any mono black deck with Sheoldred and other really, really good 3 and 4 drops that we can grab out. The the creature lands. So blue and green creature land. I don't know how much I will use that one, to be honest, but Restless Cottage is really, really showing up in some black and green decks with the Tortoise, with the other Virtue of Persistence, the black one. So yeah, I'm glad I've got another one of those, because that's going to work really well for me. Ingenious Prodigy. Yeah, I don't know, drawing lots of cards, but your creature gets smaller over time. Don't know how exciting that really is. So Ginger, great for the black and green food deck. Expel the Interlopers. Destroy creatures with power greater than or equal to a chosen number. If we've got lots of tiny creatures, that would be good. I mean, they're like in the Pia deck, maybe. You get loads of 1/1s. Or we could have something like Pollen Shield Hair to boost all the 1/1s. Give them all +1/+1. Okay, more wild cards, which is great. The Apprentice's Folly. Now, this is interesting. You can create you choose a non-token creature that you control that doesn't have the same name as a token you control, so you can't already have a copy of it, and then you make a copy of it that is not legendary. And it's a reflection. On the second turn, you can do it again, but you can't do the same creature because now you already have a token with that name, so you'd have to copy a different creature. And then on the third turn, third chapter, sacrifice all reflections you control. If you can destroy this enchantment before you have to sacrifice your reflections, you've basically got yourself 2 copies of legendary creatures in blue and red. Makes me think Atali. I don't know, there's probably other things you could do with that. So yeah, interesting uses for that card. Can't wait to be trying that one out. Anything else here that's particularly interesting? Ruby. I've got a couple of rubies there. Gruul aggro with what's it? Samut, that draws cards when you hit with creatures that have just come in. Maybe creatures with power 4 or greater. I'm sure we could get a few of those in a Gruul deck. So maybe we're putting something together there using her. Anything else here? Another Neva. Witch's Vanity is kind of good in a black deck where you have that Hex Mage and you have Beseech the Mirror, because then you get extra enchantments or artifacts to bargain for Beseech the Mirror. So yeah, that's pretty good, and it's removal for tiny creatures as well. So that's all good. I got Ash, Party Crasher, the Boros Celebration. enabler or hasty creature. There's probably some like Boros humans we could put together, I think. I might already have a couple of copies of Ash from the draft events, so we'll see what we can do with that. Anything else here? Grand Ball Guest Celebration. Probably not too great in constructed, but it works all right in draft. More red removal spells. Yeah, but really good. So Frantic Firebolt is an interesting one. X damage to target creature, where X is 2 plus the number of cards in your graveyard that are instants, sorceries, and or have an adventure. So you could have, you could have some kind of milling strategy where you put loads into your graveyard, but you could just use this in something kind of like the mono blue Jin deck, because that relies on instants and sorceries being in your graveyard. So maybe there's a kind of Izzet version of that we could make. So that could do a huge amount of damage, right? Because it'd be X plus 2. You might have 10 cards in your graveyard, so it could be doing 12 damage to a creature. So yeah, interesting one there. Ginger Brute. I like its ability to not be blocked, except by creatures with haste, especially if we have many Agatha's Soul Cauldron, and we can exile Ginger Brute when it goes to the graveyard and put that ability on anything we like. So that's going to be some fun things. Anything else here that's particularly interesting? More Firebolt. Gnawing Crescendo is good. Maybe we could make a decent rat aggro deck. We'll see. We'll see if we can make a good aggro deck as well with rats. Another Firebolt. Okay, we have lots of Firebolts. Okay, the next 10 packs. Here we go. Let's watch the wild cards pulling out of the side there. Reveal all of these, and we have Virtue of Persistence. So yeah, really building up that green and black kind of top tier meta deck that's going around at the moment with the turtle. My first Ariat of the Charmed Apple. Yeah, auras that attach to your opponent's creatures. They can't attack or block, and you just drain them out. So that's an interesting one. We could definitely do some things with that. Wild card's always good. Italian's Messenger, great for the fairy deck. Bramble Familiar. We could start putting that with Alara, but I don't think the Alara deck is actually as good as it seems. I think when it works really well, or when it works really well. A lot of the time, it doesn't work. So, but yeah, we could try that out and see what kind of win rate we can get from it. But I don't think the Alara deck actually works as well as you might think. So, Spellbook Vendor, really interesting to be able to put enchantments in like every turn. So we can have the other white cards that use enchantments going to the graveyard or enchantments entering for different synergies. We could put this with the Elvish Archivist to draw a card every turn for 1 mana. So there's some definitely good green and white synergies there with the enchantments coming in. We've got Mosswood Dread Knight, another really important part of the green and black deck that I am looking forward to building. Picnic Ruiner. This is an interesting one. So when it attacks, if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, it gets double strike till end of turn. I played against someone who put every boost on this thing, like Blazing Crescendo, the Monstrous Rage, and they did about 16 damage or something with this thing. So interesting. We might be able to use that for some kind of slightly different red aggro deck, maybe. Okay, anything else? Princess Takes Flight. Really good with Bargain because you can exile something of your opponent's, give something +2/+2 and flying, and then you can destroy the Princess Takes Flight, and then yeah, and they don't get it back. Or you could do it on one of your own creatures, I guess. I don't know how useful this would necessarily be. You could put this out, exile your own big creature, do some damage on chapter 2, and then board wipe if you really want to. I don't know, maybe. And then your creature comes back. It's just something else you could do with that. Okay, Knight of the Sweet's Revenge. Really good for a green food ramp deck. Another Princess Takes Flight, so that's good. 3 Bowls of Porridge, my favourite design of a card from the whole set, from the 3 different effects it can do. Callous Sellsword, having a fling as an adventure is really useful as well, so it can destroy one of your own creatures and does damage equal to its power to any target. So yeah, very good in a sacrifice deck. Break the spell, destroying enchantments, which works well with your own Princess Takes Flight, because you can destroy that even without bargain. Hopeless Nightmare for discarding and draining life out of the opponent. We could definitely try that in a deck. Anything else that's really useful or interesting to use? Everything else here is pretty much just filling out the collection. I don't think there's anything too exciting in there. Let's move on. Next 10. Here we go again. All these wild cards. I can't wait to see how many wild cards I've actually got by the end of this. So another Hilda's Crown of Winter. In fact, 2 more. So we're definitely going to be doing something with that. Oh, that's legendary. Do we need that many? I don't know. We'll see. Another Archivist. Yenna. Another one of my favourite cards from the set because we can copy enchantments. And this works really well with... what's that one? Oh yeah, 3 blind mice. That becomes infinite. You can use Yenna to enable that kind of infinite combo as well. Charming Scoundrel is going to go really well in red aggro, my big red aggro deck. My main one that I do most of the time. Whenever I do red aggro, it'll be the the rare version of it. Triad, good for ramping creatures. We could use it for something like the Goose Mother, which I already have, I believe, from draft events. So we can make a Goose Mother deck with some ramp. A lot of the same stuff coming out here. Another Twisted Fealty is good. Tough Cookie, really good card. I like that one. Up the Beanstalk goes well in the traditional domain deck with just ramp and Atraxa rather than Alara, because we're going to draw cards almost every turn. And what's fun about that is you can even do it when you're casting Leyline Binding. Even if you're casting it for 1 mana, the actual card has a mana value of 5 or greater. So that draws cards as well. So that's really useful. Tanglespan Lookout. Drawing cards with auras when auras enter is great fun as well. Mostly in budget decks, I think. I don't think it quite stands up to the other rares we can have in enchantment decks. So anything else exciting here? A lot of the same. Yeah, okay, right, let's move on to the next 10 packs. Okay, and reveal. Wild cards, the best thing you can get, basically, because you can use it on anything at all. Feral Encounter. Yeah, if we're making a mono green deck, see if mono green can do much these days, we'll try that out. An Elusive Otter. I want to try something with the Otter. Prowess, creatures with power less than its power can't block it. So you can attack creatures with power less than... okay, so you want to attack, you want to do all the prowess triggers before blocking, and if you could get the Otter to high enough power, then it can't block if it goes over the top of your opponent's creatures. So could do some interesting things with that. Maybe we could do something with that one that enables prowess? Narset? Another one? Yeah. I don't know. We'll have a look at some Narset things or some prowess things as well. Godric to go in the mono red deck. The latest and greatest mono red edition. Spiteful Hexmage for a mono black Beseech the Mirror bargain style deck. Anything else different along here? A lot of the same, to be honest. Yeah, we get to go through these pretty quickly, because these are all okay, but like they're probably not going to make up meta decks by themselves. Cooped Up is a good synergy with Yenna, because Yenna can copy an aura and untap, but it can only be an aura or an enchantment that you don't have a second copy of yet. So if you have a second copy, you can't do it, but you can copy Cooped Up with Yenna, and then you can pay the 3 on Cooped Up to exile the enchanted creature. And now you only have 1 Cooped Up, and you can do it again with Yenna. But it's basically 5 mana to exile things and scry 2 at the same time. It's not the best ever, but it's repeatable. You can do it basically every turn. And if you can protect Yenna, then you can just keep doing that every time they put out a creature. Okay, that's pretty much all we're getting in this one. Halfway through the Wilds of Eldraine packs now. Those wild cards are building up, I can tell. There's a good few starting to build up there. Okay, revealing them again. Virtue of Strength. Tapping mana, tapping land for 3 times the mana. Yeah, that could go in a Goose Mother deck, right? Let's see what we can do with that. And the green and blue creature land will work really well in that deck as well. So that's interesting. Another Apprentice's Folly. Definitely going to make something out of that. And again, the other creature land, the white and black version, which drains the opponent and gains you some life as well. Maybe we can make some kind of white and black life gain deck. Let me know in the comments what kind of deck sounds good to you. And those are the ones that I'll be crafting over the next week or two. Start putting out some videos with. Okay, up the beanstalk again for a domain deck. Ego Drain that goes in the fairies deck. Anything else hugely exciting here? Another Triad. Got a Goose Mother deck. And more Gingerbrute. So a lot of these will be ones that I might already have 4 copies of from the draft events. So we're definitely going to be adding some Vault Progress up here from all the 5th copies of the commons and uncommons that I'm getting. I haven't noticed any, well, I haven't had any gems because I don't have 4 copies of all of the rares yet. So yeah, I won't be getting any gems from this, but Vault Progress I should be. Okay, there's another Restless Cottage. It's at least my 3rd one, I'm sure it is. So if we can get all 4 of them, then we're going to make a really good black and green food combo. What's it? Tortoise deck. Okay, Twinning Twins or Twining Twins. You probably won't use that one. Okay, moving on. Another creature land. We're getting lots of these creature lands, which is really good. Sleep Cursed Fairy, obviously for the fairies deck, works really well. It's a really good addition to the deck. Song of Totentans, which is great for making lots of creatures. If you have all kinds of things that benefit from having lots of creatures, then this works really well. You can make loads of rats with this, and then play the Sewer Witch that puts wicked tokens on all of your rats that make them all 2/2s, and when they die, they do 1 damage. So yeah, rat aggro definitely coming up sometime soon. Anything else? So Johann Apprentice Sorcerer. So we've got the Apprentice's Folly. This obviously goes well in that deck as well. Same colours and same theme. So we can look at the top card of our library at any time, and once each turn we may cast an instant or sorcery from the top of our library. So we'll see if that fits into the deck as well. Obviously really good to be able to look at the top of your library and cast things from it, because it's going to be virtual card advantage. And I think, was that once per turn? It was once each turn. Okay, but that's like your turn and the opponent's turn. So maybe the Apprentice's Folly doesn't go with this. Maybe this is more of the kind of Firebolt deck, where we're going to have lots of instants and sorceries, and maybe adventure cards going into our graveyard and allowing us to do loads and loads of damage. So anything else here? Barrow Naughty for the fairy deck. Probably not the best one to include though, so it might not make the cut for the fairy deck. And then loads of copies of other uncommons and commons that I already have loads of. Okay. 30 to go, almost there. Loads more wild cards as well, which is nice to see from the commons and uncommons. Rowan again, I think it's my 3rd one, so going to be making a good Rowan deck. More wild cards, and my 4th Crown of Winter, so I won't see any more of those. Another 3 Blind Mice and Gruff Triplets, so this is really fun. Gruff Triplets and 3 Blind Mice. You make your copy, you make your mouse on turn 1, you make a token copy of another token that you control. If you have Gruff Triplets as well, green and white together is just so cool. If you have Gruff Triplets as well, you can copy the triplet and you get an additional 3/3. So Gruff Triplets comes out as 3 different 3/3 trample creatures, and you can make another one, so now you have 4 3/3 trample creatures, let one of them die. They put +1 counters on all the other ones. Definitely lots of fun we can have with the triplets. Another Bramble Familiar, which is going to be used quite a lot. Okay, Redcap Gutter Dweller go great in the rat deck. If we got Lord Skitter, I think we got Lord Skitter already. Okay, where else are we going? Anything else down here? Totem Tan Swarm Piper again. So we're definitely going to have the good rat deck. Ash Party Crasher for the Boros Humans deck. Another Ruby there. So we're definitely getting all of these really good archetype signpost cards. We make all these different cool decks with. And that's where we are with those. Okay, 10 more. Working through these really quickly. Loads more wild cards and reveal all. Virtue of Knowledge, a will, Scion of Peace. I haven't had one before, it's my first one. So we want to gain life on our turn, and then things cost X less for the amount that we've gained. So at least blue and white, maybe some other colours included. Life gain deck is going to be interesting. Virtue of Knowledge, doubling ETB triggers, Virtue of Persistence, bringing things back again. Another one of the blue and green creature lands. So I think we've got 4 of those now. I think so. Spiteful Hexmage again. Another Gruff Triplets. Yeah, that's going to work really well for us. We've got Archon of the Wild Rose. This one works so well for me in draft events. Other creatures that have auras become 4/4s and have flying. So if you just copy auras onto loads of things, this won't work in the rats deck because there's too many different colors going on, probably. But if you made all the rats 2/2s with their wicked tokens on them, and then could get out Archon of the Wild Rose, they'll all become 5/5 rats that can't block them when they die. They do 1 damage. That wouldn't work because of the colours. It'd be really awkward, but imagine doing that. That'd be pretty funny. Okay, we've got another Johan Apprentice Sorcerer for that deck. Anything else that's new? Monstrous Rage. I probably have 4 copies of anyway because it's so good. Sir Armont has saved me so many times in draft events. Coming out as a 4/4 that puts a monster roll token on another creature, and then giving all enchanted creatures +1/+1 means you're pretty much getting 6/6 and tramples worth of stats out of this creature, but it just spreads onto something else. And yeah, you just get huge amounts of damage through. So such a good card, such a good creature for draft. Will it work in standard? I don't know. Maybe we'll find out. Maybe I'll try that one in an aura deck. Anything else? Candy Grapple. It seems good. -5/-5, but 2 mana instant removal. You just use Go for the Throat. I mean, I don't know why you'd really need to use Candy Grapple unless you had lots of artifacts that get used, and you don't really see it that often. So Go for the Throat's probably much better as removal. I wouldn't worry too much about Candy Grapple in standard. We'll see. Maybe I'll be proved wrong one day. Okay, anything else too exciting? Not really. Okay, last 10 Wilds of Eldraine cards. Packs. Loads more wild cards coming to me. And we have Realm Scorcher Hellkite. I already have a Jeskai Dragons deck that I've been playing with. Would this work well in it? Is it too expensive? It has haste. That's good. It has bargain. I think I might have some things to bargain away with it. So maybe I'll try that in the Jeskai Dragons deck. Likeness Looter is an interesting one. So blue and black. Flying, draw a card, discard a card, or you can pay X. It becomes a copy of a creature in your graveyard with mana value X, except has flying and this ability, so it can change into something else. So anything that you've put into your graveyard, it can become a copy of that. So I'm sure there's so many ways we could use that. So we'll see what comes out of experimenting with that. Got Questing Druid, which is a good one for the Pioneer deck. If you go with making it Naya rather than Boros colours. So the only one that's actually green that goes in the deck, so you might not actually want to include it. We've got the Goose Mother, the big Goose Mother deck. Raging Battle Mouse is good for a mono red aggro celebration style deck with Godric. So So we'll be adding that little mouse into that deck. Another ruby, so we've definitely got 4 of those. Another totem tans. Pretty sure we've got 4 of those now. Royal Treatment, I've already got this, 4 copies of it, but really good in a Selesnya Calyx enchantment deck, which might be one that I start showing off on the channel soon. It might be the next one I do. We'll see, it might be. And all the rest are like good, but not amazing. Okay, so now we have 10 golden packs. So these are going to have, potentially, going to have some Lord of the Rings cards in it, but from opening 10 packs and getting, so I'm getting 60 cards. What's the chances I get like, well, a couple of Lord of the Rings cards? Let's see. I'll open one of these at a time because we want to see all 6 cards. Well, I guess they'll be shown either way, won't they? So Thunderous Debut, really good with, what's the one? Fight Rigging. There's some really good decks using that to bring out like 2 creatures with Fight Rigging, which is really fun. Maybe I'm just going to open them all once. It's going to spread out anyway, isn't it? There we go, like the other one. So these are all rares and mythics. Let's see if we've got any Lord of the Rings cards. My first Tyvar, haven't used him before. I don't know if I would necessarily. I don't know, we'll see about that. Ashiok, not my first Ashiok, which is nice. So Ashiok Mill style deck coming up. Mondrak. I'm surprised I don't already have 4 copies of Mondrak, but probably don't ever need 4 copies of Mondrak. All be one, probably not. No, won't ever need 4 copies of that either. We have our first Tortoise, which is good, so I won't have to use all my wildcards crafting it, because I definitely want to get it. Oh, we've got another Ashiok. So yeah, another Rowan. So that must be my 4th copy of Rowan. So that's going to be a deck I'm going to be making up very soon. I haven't seen any Lord of the Rings cards yet. I missed any. Pretty sure there weren't any. Another Harbin, another Glisser. Heartflame Duelist. Giving instants and sorceries lifelink is going to be very interesting in a Boros Humans aggro style deck. So I'll be using that definitely. We've got the end. And I've just spotted Lord of the Rings card. Just ignore that one. I'm not going to be using it. Leaf Crowned Visionary. Will I make mono green elves? Probably not. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe. More rare lands, which are really, really good. You need to make sure you've got enough rare lands. Another Restless Cottage. Did I not already have 4 of those? Maybe I only had 3. So that must be my 4th copy. Oh, we've got a Balrog. There you go. There's another Lord of the Rings card. That's the 2nd one. I think it's only 2 so far. Hopefully there's not any more. Another Hex Mage. Sigarda. I do like a good angel deck, so Sigarda's pretty good. More Hornlock Whale. For control, Feral Encounter at the end. Oh, we've got a Gimli. Okay, so that's like, what, 3 Lord of the Rings cards? And a Phyrexian Dragon Engine for the Dragon deck. So, out of all the cards that we've got here, all these rares and mythics, and of all the golden packs, we did get 3 Lord of the Rings cards. But to be honest, considering there could be, I don't know, 3 copies of Dranith Ruins that I might never use. Maybe I will one day, but, I'm not expecting to. It's not really that different from getting cards that you don't think you'll use anyway. They're just not for the standard set. So whatever, it's fine. 3 Lord of the Rings cards is not the end of the world. So right, let's have a look now at the collection. We go to over here. We're now at 93%. We have almost 4 copies of every common from opening those packs. There's 10 uncommons we don't have, but we might already have 4 copies of a lot of the uncommons. I wouldn't be surprised if we do. And then we've almost got 1 copy of every rare and almost got 1 copy of every mythic. I am interested to see which ones I'm actually missing. Okay, so here we go. All the new cards. Everything's new. Right, so let's go to Wilds of Eldraine. Let's see what we're missing. Rares and mythic rares. The Fox Bodyguard. Yeah, I would like to have that, but never mind. Moonshaker Cavalry does look fun to use. Lord Skitter's Blessing, not too interested in. Lich Knight's Conquest would be fun to use. especially in that kind of deck where you have the Hex Mage and Beseech the Mirror and all those other things that produce targets for bargain, because that's essentially what Lich Knight's Conquest does. Sacrificing artifacts, enchantments, and or tokens is basically bargain. So yeah, in a black deck that bargains things away, that would be really cool to use. Malevolent Witch Kite, Ogre Chiselord, and Wildwood Mentor. These ones come from the Mastery Pass anyway, so I wouldn't expect to have them yet. I don't think you can open them from packs. I think you only get them when you reach that stage in the Mastery Pass. So ignore those. There's only actually 4 rares or mythics that I don't have that I could have got from packs. And if we have a look at all the ones that I do have, obviously it's everything else. But we don't have 4 copies of everything, like we've only got 1 Sleep Cursed Fairy. So we could start making a fairy deck from that. But it would be nice to have more Sleep Cursed Fairies in there as well. We've got 3 Godric's, so Mono Red is going to get an upgrade. Got a Raging Battle Mouse as well. And the Charming Scoundrel. Would be nice to have more than one of those, but maybe I'll craft some more. Mosswood Dread Knight and the Huntsman's Redemption. I'm definitely going to use quite a bit. Questing Druid's going to get some use in PNLR deck. More Tortoises would be nice because it's like the latest 4-drop that like people think is better than Shieldred, which you wouldn't think it was just by looking at the stats, but the way it's being used is really interesting. 3 Gruff Triplets, 4 Virtue of Strength, so for a massive ramp deck that has, X cost spells like Goose Mother, definitely use a lot of that extra mana. And we've got, creature lands. We've got a lot of the creature lands. And yeah, it's looking really good. 4 Restless Cottages, which is what I really wanted. And we've got 3 Agatha's Soul Cauldron, my favourite jank card of the set, because we can put any ability from any creature onto any other creature with a +1 counter, and you can get all kinds of crazy combos. From infinite mana to infinite power when you're attacking. All kinds of interesting things, like just stopping things from being able to be blocked. Maybe you'll hit the opponent with a Yargle and Multani that has the Gingerbrute unblockable ability on it. We'll see what things we can do with Agatha's Soul Cauldron, but there's going to be some really fun synergies we make from that. And we've got 2 Goose Mothers hiding in the corner there just behind my face. So do we need more Goose Mothers for the deck? Maybe. I don't know, we'll see. And then we've got, 4 Hilda's Crown of Winters. Maybe we'll use that. Only 2 Agathas. Don't think I even need Agatha in the deck. It's just the Cauldron we need, actually, that does the bigger job. And 4 Yenas, which I really like. And 4 Apprentice's Follies. So definitely we can do something with that in the deck as well. And yeah, there's 4 Rowans. So there are lots of different decks we can make from these cards. So I really want you to tell me what kind of decks you'd like to see, what cards you think would be interesting in for me to put to use in decks I can show off on the channel in the near future. So let me know what you think. I've got lots of ideas, but I would love to know what you think as well. And now let's have a look. Our vault is over 100% because we're on 118. Let's have a look at the wildcards now. We're on 94 commons, 118 commons, and we now have 21 rares and 8 mythics, and vault progress of 118%. So now is the time in the kind of life cycle of the set where we're a few weeks in. I've done all the drafts I want to do. I did about 10 draft events. I've got 100 packs. I've opened all those packs. I've got loads of wildcards and loads of rares that I want to use in decks. Now the question is, how many of my wildcards do I want to use, or what's the most cost-effective or resource-effective way of using those wildcards? I might have to get a few more tortoises and see what other things I can add in, but I'm going to try and use the cards I've got already to build my decks with, rather than crafting all those other rares and mythics straight away. But we'll see what comes out of brewing with these Wilds of Eldraine cards. So don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and we'll look out for these deck building videos that are going to be coming out over the next few weeks while I'm using up all these cards. Thanks for watching this video to the end, and I will see you in the next one.